In this video, we are going to talk about travel to Istanbul, so before starting this video, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Coveted by empires across the centuries, straddling both Europe and Asia, Istanbul is one of the world's great metropolises. Founded around 1000 BC, the colony of Byzantium grew into the Byzantine Empire's great capital of Constantinople, and after the Ottoman conquest of the city, retained its glorious place as the heart of their empire. The city, officially renamed Istanbul after the founding of the Turkish Republic, is liberally scattered with glorious remnants of its long and illustrious history, and the tourist attractions here will impress even the most monument-weary visitor. As well as the Big Four, the Hagia Sophia Mosque, Topkapi Palace, the Blue Mosque and Grand Bazaar, leave enough time to explore the other sites. Here's the description of travel to Istanbul. Let's start. Stroll through Çiçek Passage. Built in 1876, Çiçek Passage, Flower Passage, is easily one of Istanbul's most beautiful arcades. Its gorgeous interior is worth a stroll through, even while the waiters attempt to shuffle you into the beer halls and meyhanes lined along the sides. Though the Beyoğlu area offers much better dining spots, the beautiful setting of Çiçek Passage makes it worth it to sit down and enjoy a beer with some French fries while soaking in the nostalgia. Pause for a moment of reflection at St. Antoine Church. The largest and most prominent Catholic church in Istanbul, the majestic St. Antoine on İstiklal Caddesi, was built between 1906 and 1912 in the Venetian neo-Gothic style. St. Antoine offers masses throughout the week in English, Turkish, Polish and Italian, and is a place to pop in for a moment of silent reflection after spending the morning traversing the crowded Beyoğlu district. Before being elected as Pope, Pope John XI preached at St. Antoine for a number of years when he served as Vatican's apostolic delegate to Turkey. He is commemorated by a statue located in the courtyard. Dig for hidden treasures at the Faraköy Flea Market. Taking place inside the vast covered marketplace in Bomonti every weekend, the Faraköy Flea Market and Organic Bazaar is a great place to shop for fresh produce and hunt for antiques. The Saturday food market features a wide array of 100% organic produce, including vegetables, fruit, honey, cheese and jam sourced from different corners of Turkey. In the early hours of Sunday, antique dealers replace the greengrocers and set up their stalls selling all manner of antiques, knickknacks, vinyl records, old books, magazines, original film posters and treasures waiting to be found. Try some of the excellent fresh gosling served by the elderly ladies near the entrance. Snack on classic candy at Altın Şekerleme. Opened in 1865, this classic candy shop is a blast from the past and a relic in a city that is changing by the minute. This shop has been in the same family's hands since the very beginning and features a variety of sweets that are hard to come by these days in Istanbul. While there are lots of lousy variations of Turkish delight to be found in Istanbul, Altın Şekerleme makes the real deal. If Turkish delight isn't your thing, try their other speciality, akide şekeri, a homemade rock candy. Admire the architecture of the Süleymaniye Mosque. Sitting high on the hill above Sultanahmet district, the Süleymaniye Mosque is one of the most recognized landmarks of Istanbul. It was built for Sultan Süleymanay, commonly known as Suleiman the Magnificent, reigned 1520 to 1566, by the famed Ottoman architect, Sinan, who is responsible for many of the faded Ottoman-era monuments in Turkey, including the Selimiye Mosque in Edirne. The Süleymaniye Mosque's interior, dominated by its soaring 53-meter-high dome, is notable for its harmonious proportions and unity of design. Outside in the tranquil garden area is an interesting Ottoman-era cemetery, which is also home to the tombs of the Sultan Süleyman and his wife Haseki Hürrem Sultan, often commonly known outside of Turkey as Roxolana. Be entranced by whirling dervishes at the Galata Mevlevi Lodge. The oldest tekke in Istanbul to house members of the Mevlevi order, the adherents of Sufism, this 15th-century building was converted into a museum in 1975 and remains an important cornerstone of Sufi culture. A treasure trove of artifacts is on display at the museum, including musical instruments, calligraphy, Mevlevi clothing and accessories, though its prime draw is the weekly Sema, whirling dervish, ceremony that entrances large numbers of visitors every Sunday at 1700 hours. Tickets can be acquired at the door or online from Biletix. Since the performances are open seating, arrive early to secure a front seat. The lodge also occasionally hosts Ottoman classical music concerts. Check out the collection in Istanbul Archaeology Museum. Just a hop, skip, and jump away from Topkapi. There are 3 separate sections in the museum complex, each of which are worthy of a visit. The Museum of the Ancient Orient displays a collection focused on the Middle East's pre-Islamic art and heritage. The main archaeology museum houses statuary and tombs, including the famed sarcophaguses from Sidon, Lebanon that were unearthed by Ottoman architect Osman Hamdi Bey. Also here, you'll find the Istanbul Through the Ages exhibit room, which helps you visualize the city's vast and epic history. The museum's 3rd building is the Tiled Pavilion, built by Mehmet the Conqueror, which houses a wide range of ceramic art. Scarf down a balık ekmek on the go at Eminönü. Balık ekmek, fish sandwich, is one of Istanbul's most iconic street foods and a great meal for any time of day, granted, not ideal for breakfast. Though the fish no longer comes from the Bosphorus, it has been imported from Norway for years. Enjoying a balık ekmek cooked on a rocking boat on the Eminönü shore remains an Istanbul institution and a beloved weekend activity of families coming from all over the city. You might be tempted to sit down at one of the restaurants below the Galata Bridge to feast on these tasty sandwiches, but nothing beats tucking into a balık ekmek on the go as you soak up views of the Bosphorus. Stroll the Hippodrome. The ancient hippodrome was begun by Septimius Severus in c. 203 and completed by Constantine the Great in c. 330. This was the center of Byzantine public life and the scene of splendid games and chariot races, but also factional conflicts. Today, there isn't much of the hippodrome left to see, except for a small section of the gallery walls on the southern side, but the Meydani Park, which now stands on the site, is home to a variety of monuments. On the northwest side is a fountain, presented to the Ottoman Sultan by the German Emperor William II in 1898. Then, heading southwest are 3 ancient monuments, a 20-meter-high Egyptian obelisk from Heliopolis, the serpent column brought here from Delphi by Constantine, and a stone obelisk that originally was clad in gold-covered bronze plating until they were stolen by the soldiers of the Fourth Crusade in 1204. Shop for spices and souvenirs at the Spice Bazaar. Smaller than the nearby Grand Bazaar, the Spice Bazaar, also known as the Egyptian Bazaar, was built in the 16th century and features rows of stalls selling spices, sweets, tea varieties, dried fruits, and other goods. A great place to shop for spices, Turkish delights and other souvenirs, the Spice Bazaar is also a visual experience as the spice vendors prominently display their colorful wares in large, pyramid-like mounds. Herbal remedies abound in the bazaar and you'll find spices or edible seeds allegedly good for things like memory, immunity, digestion, and general well-being. We'll let you be the judge of what's known as Turkish Viagra, which is in fact dried quince stuffed with walnuts. Head underground at the Basilica Cistern, Yerebatan Sarnıcı. The Basilica Cistern is one of Istanbul's most surprising tourist attractions. This huge, palace-like underground hall, supported by 336 columns in 12 rows, once stored the imperial water supply for the Byzantine emperors. The project was begun by Constantine the Great but finished by Emperor Justinian in the 6th century. Many of the columns used in construction were recycled from earlier classical structures and featured decorative carvings. The most famous of these are the column bases known as the Medusa stones in the northwest corner with their Medusa head carvings. A visit here is very atmospheric with the columns beautifully lit and the soft, steady trickle of water all around you. Be mesmerized by the tiles inside the Blue Mosque. The Sultanahmet Mosque, better known as the Blue Mosque due to the prominent color of its majestic interior, is a historic mosque built in the early 17th century during the reign of Ahmed I. Among the city's most famous landmarks, the Blue Mosque's interior walls are adorned with over 20,000 hand-painted blue tiles, which are bathed in natural light filtering in from more than 200 windows, a dazzling sight to behold. Note that the Blue Mosque is still a functional mosque, and visiting is forbidden during prayer times. The iron chain hanging over the central entrance to the courtyard was supposedly put in place to remind the Sultan to lower his head in humility each time he entered the grounds on horseback. Put your bargaining hat on at the Grand Bazaar. For many visitors, sightseeing in Istanbul is as much about shopping as museums and monumental attractions, and the Grand Bazaar is where everyone comes. This massive covered market is basically the world's first shopping mall, taking up a whole city quarter, surrounded by thick walls, between the Nuri Osmani Mosque and Beyazıt Mosque. The Beyazıt Mosque, built in 1498 to 1505, itself occupies the site of Theodosius' Ice Forum and has architecture inspired by the Hagia Sophia. Entrance to the bazaar is through one of 11 gates from where a maze of vaulted ceiling laneways, lined by shops and stalls selling every Turkish souvenir and handicraft you could imagine, cover the area. The various trades are still mostly segregated into particular sections, which makes browsing easier. The third court also displays an impressive collection of relics of the Prophet Muhammad in the sacred safekeeping room and is home to the imperial treasury, where you're greeted with a cache of glittering gold objects and precious gems that will make your eyes water. Marvel at the lofty dome of the Hagia Sophia. Completed in the 6th century on the orders of the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, Hagia Sophia remained the world's largest cathedral for nearly a millennium until the completion of Seville Cathedral in 1520. Before being converted into a mosque in the 15th century and later into a museum in 1935, Hagia Sophia served as the center of the Eastern Orthodox Church. The Hagia Sophia is among Istanbul's most popular and iconic historic sites, and for good reason. The massive, transcendent dome is breathtaking and can easily be gazed at for hours. A true architectural marvel, the walls are adorned by Byzantine mosaics featuring portraits of bygone emperors and representations of Christ. There are 2 runic inscriptions engraved into the marble parapets on the top floor gallery, thought to have been graffitied there by the personal bodyguards of the Byzantine emperors during the Viking Age. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.